What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Jr. watching a Ragin Ronin review. I got a review for you. Last night I checked out Bill and Ted Face the Music. It's the third and final film in the now Bill and Ted trilogy. The first one being Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the second one Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and then 29 years later, now in 2020, we finally have Bill and Ted Face the Music, and it is definitely one of my most highly anticipated films of this year because I'm a huge fan of the original. I absolutely love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's one of my favorite all-time comedies, probably somewhere in the top 5. I love that film. I rewatched it recently and it's still funny as hell. And it's all because I love those characters that writers Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon created. They're such fun-loving, beloved, adorable characters. And all I wanted to see was them come back for another adventure. That's all I wanted to see. That was my only expectation. And, you know, I've been following the production of this film like ever since they just kept on, ever since they announced it. And they kept on putting out these spaced out updates on you know, the development of the film. It was moving along very, very slowly. Obviously, Keanu Reeves was very busy at the time with a lot of films, but Alex Winter always kept us updated through social media about the status of this film. But one thing that I loved, even though it took a long time, was that he was constantly updating us, the fans, and also telling us how passionate he was about it getting made. And, you know, of course, he realizes and he understands that, and we understand that it's not up to him, it's up to the studios, but when they announced that, okay, it's finally happening, I was so happy. All right, so of course I was really happy to know that I was gonna watch it yesterday. So here is my review. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna be completely objective about this review. Okay, I'm not gonna let the fact that I love the original blind myself from dictating from the you know, I'm not gonna let those feelings dictate my feelings about this review. Going to be totally objective and give you my honest feelings. I want to start off by saying that the only expectation I had was just seeing these characters be themselves as they were back in the first and second film. And while that is a very fair thing to want, it is it's a little bit unrealistic. Okay, so for some reason I thought that by seeing them again, I thought that I would get the same amount of energy that they would have 29 or 30 years ago, okay? That was totally wrong of me to feel that way because they are slower, they are less energetic, but they still do their best in capturing the essence, the true heart and soul of those characters. But, you know, they got old, so they have a little bit less energy, but they provide us older versions of those characters and what they would realistically be like, and it just took a few minutes for me to get used to that. But I don't know why. I guess, you know, I love these characters so much I didn't want them to change, and I think that's very, very fair of me to want that, but I just wanted to see their old selves, but you know what? I embraced it. I moved on, and I didn't let that distract me from the enjoyment of the film because this film is a lot of fun. But make no mistake about it, this film was made for the fans and only for the fans. Because if you just jump into this movie without knowing anything about the originals, you're going to be like, what the hell? This movie is so weird. Which it is. I can totally see that from a brand new audience perspective, but as a fan of these two films, especially the first one, I mean, I'll say that as a fan of the characters and the adventures they go through, I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed it, and it's definitely a film that, you know, they give everything that the fans want, and also they make it they introduce new elements to make it more accessible for the times. You know what I'm saying? So what I love about this film is the fact that they combine the best of the first two films. Of course, the time traveling aspect of the first one and all the wacky sci-fi aspects, fantasy aspects of the second one. They incorporate all those elements, so it feels really nostalgic. That's the first thing that I'll really want to point out, is that it feels really nostalgic because of what they're doing, what they do in this film. Now, the thing about this film also is that, of course, it needs to bring in new elements, like new modern elements, and that is they introduce the characters of the two daughters, okay? Billy and Thea. Billy and Thea. I was going to say Theodora. Billy and Thea, who are played by Samara Weaving and Bridget Lundy Payne. By the way, I just want to I want to tell you straight up that Bridget Lundy Payne is so good as Billy. Okay, she does such a great job in playing the daughter of Ted Theodore Logan. She just embodies that character so well, and the movements, the way she talks, and all these subtle things that it was fun watching her. Samira Weaving, she does a good job, but like I feel like between the two of them, the character of Billy, it just feels more close to her dad, all right, to the respective dads, all right. So speaking of characters, I'm so happy to see all the of certain characters that are back, such as Hal Landon Jr., who plays Chief Logan, as well as Amy Stotch, who played Missy. I didn't expect to see her there. William Sadler is there as Death, and I feel like all the chemistry is back. It's like they never left. Even though Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are older and their characters are older, their chemistry is all still there, and the things that made their characters work so well, it never left. So like I said before, the heart and soul of the first two films and their character is all back because of course you have the same writers, so nothing has really changed except their age and of course visual things like visual effects and things like that. Right? They definitely push the boundaries of what they can do now at this point. Of course, with technology and visual effects, they do a lot more with that, but it doesn't really make this movie less enjoyable in the sense that it doesn't make it feel like less like a Bill and Ted's film. In fact, I think it complements it very well. That it looks. The other ones feel a little bit dated, but they're still lovable, right? But this one is more modern, of course, right? But it doesn't change anything because what the core essence of it is really comes down to the characters and the themes of these films, right? These themes are always all the same, and it's about creating music and bringing happiness to the world, right? And uniting the world. So that's what essentially this film is about, and they still have all that, okay? So it's a lot of fun. The comedy is hilarious, especially if you're a fan of the originals. The adventures they go through, the way they act, just their mannerisms. That's all you need to see. Is just them. It's just Ted Theodore Logan and Bill S. Preston Esquire. Just being them is all I wanted to see. Okay. Now, how do I really feel about this film? Even though I've explained how I really feel about all the wonderful things about this film. Okay. I really enjoyed the first act. I enjoyed the second act. I enjoyed where the third act was going, but I'm going to be completely straight up with you, and that is it didn't, the final ending, the climactic finale didn't have the same emotional impact that it did from the first two. Okay, and I'm going to be completely straight up about it. I really enjoyed all the other things that it did throughout the movie. But I felt that with such a big buildup where they're getting these like historical musical figures, bringing them to this moment where they're supposed to create the greatest song ever to unite the world, it just didn't feel as emotionally impactful as the other. I'm gonna always do that comparison because that song that the Kiss song, God Made Rock and Roll, or God Gave Rock and Roll to You, that was the way they opened it and the way it ended with the credits. That was an amazing feel-good ending, and I think that with this build-up, that song, the song that they ended up writing was just not quite impactful. You know what I mean? I didn't leave the theater like feeling good about the song. I left the theater feeling good that I enjoyed the movie. But I felt like that song wasn't enough to do something to unite the world. Because Keanu Reeves and Ted Theodore Logan, they united the world with what they did physically. But the song itself just didn't feel good enough to me. Maybe I have high expectations because of what they did in Bogus Journey and The Excellent Adventure. But this one just felt like it could have been more. Okay, now that doesn't put any less value on the rest of the movie because I enjoyed the rest of it, but, the ending still is quite, it should have a bit of an impact on you, especially what's at stake and who they are. They've been wanting to play their make this great song, which they talk about throughout the entire movie. And after it's played, honestly, it didn't feel that, for lack of, I don't want to keep on saying impactful, but it just didn't have that oomph, Like, it just didn't feel, it didn't make you feel like, when Def went like, and then Station was scratching their heads in a Bogus Journey when they were playing that song with the crazy guitar riff. It didn't have that feeling. It just felt like, okay, well, here's the song and that's it. Just, that's what it is. It is what it is, right? So, yeah. Anyways, like I said, it doesn't change the fact that I enjoyed the rest of the movie. It's just that the song could have been better. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm going to give this film a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely going to own it on Blu-ray. I'm a huge fan of these characters, so I definitely want to see them again and again. And yeah, there you have it. That is my review of Bill and Ted Face the Music. I really enjoyed this film. It's just that song was a little bit underwhelming, okay? but I still think that the actors, every single actor did a great job. The director, the writers, they did an excellent job in recapturing the feel and the heart and soul of the originals. So they did a great job with that. And if you're a Bill and Ted fan, and and there are a lot of them out there. I know it's not like a huge thing, but there are a lot of Bill and Ted fans out there. I know you guys will really love the movie because this film is definitely for you and it's made for the fans. Okay, so there you have it, 7.5 out of 10. And there's my review. As always, if you enjoyed this review and you want to see more, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me, Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.